Daryl isn't here for too last credit with our review of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is the DCEU's fourth time to get it right. Its fourth inclusion into its cinematic universe, following Man of Steel, BVS, and Suicide Squad. The film is directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Robin Wright, Danny Huston, Connie Nielsen, Elena Ariana, Lucy Davis, and Ian Brenner. The film takes place at least 100 years before the events of the DCEU and follows Diana's first foray into man's world during World War I. This film has a lot riding on it, coming off of the more decisive responses to the previous DCEU films. It is also the first female-led superhero movie in this new wave of cinematic universes. So this film fairly and unfairly has a lot of weight to carry on its shoulders. But I'm happy to say Wonder Woman succeeds on those fronts. I haven't liked a DC film, not counting Watchmen, since about 2008. But Wonder Woman has come along, swept me off my feet, and given me hope for this new universe. Wonder Woman is a fun, funny, action-packed adventure that delivers us a hero that we truly need right now. Gal Gadot's Diana Prince, Diana the Mascara, Wonder Woman, even though they don't actually call her Wonder Woman in this movie, is great. She's a sweet, naive princess that wants to do the right thing even though everyone is telling her no. She wants to help, she wants to fight. In this film, Amazons have a purpose for their existence, and Wonder Woman wants to live up to that. She wants to deliver on that purpose. This movie also delivers the best version of Wonder Woman's origin to me, in which, Wonder Woman is explaining to her mother why she wants to go out, why she wants to go to man's world, why she wants to save it and, want to help people. And Queen Hippolyta, yes, that's how you say it. Queen Hippolyta is pretty much just like, no, they don't deserve saving. They don't deserve you, Diana. Man's world is forfeit. And even though with all that being said, even though, all the Amazons and her mother of all people, her mother is saying that man's world is forfeit, Diana still goes. She still goes to help. I love seeing a DC hero finally that believes in hope, that inspires those around them. Many of Wonder Woman's allies, they have their own demons of their own, and she helps them, run past that. She helps them see the light. She helps them feel better about themselves by either her actions or dialogue scenes in between them. She's inspiring. It really reminded me, Wonder Woman truly reminds me of like how Captain America was in the Winter Soldier, where, he's doing that speech and he's inspiring people, and he inspires Falcon to get back into the fight. It's nice just to see that hero within the DC universe that is all inspiring, and it's great. It's something I've been waiting for a very long time. This movie also does a good job about making Diana naive about man's world, but not making her a complete error. She has some understanding about how the world works, and that also leads to one of the best scenes in the movie, might be the best scene in the movie, between her and Steve on the boat. When you see the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. Gal Gadot does a great job in the film as Wonder Woman. She brings a great physicality to the role, and she also does a good job bouncing off of the many members of the cast. She still does have some improving to go as an actress, but she never pulled me out of the movie, and you can tell that she is improving as an actress, and I'm really happy to say that, she is our Wonder Woman. And when I see Wonder Woman, when I pick up a comic book, I think of Gal's voice, I think of her presence, because she has an amazing presence on screen, and she really does bring out this character of Diana, and I can't wait to see where her character goes in this universe. Because this movie really does set the foundation of Wonder Woman is a truly important. She always has been in the DC Comics. She's doing the Trinity between Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. But it's nice to finally have her stake claimed in feature films and in the cinematic universe and cinema as one of the key standards of, this is one of our key superheroes that I can't wait to follow for years to come. Speaking of the cast and characters, we have a lot of great additions to the DCEU. We finally get to see them bring Paradise Island to life, along with its inhabitants. The Amazons were really cool to see in this movie. It's nice to finally, that they're kind of delving into their infrastructure and how they work. I like that, the lasso, like how Wonder Woman always uses her lasso of truth. I love how that was implemented. Not all the lassos are magical on the Mascara, but I like how that was implemented into all of the Amazons' fighting techniques. I like how they implemented the shield and their bracelets. I like how they, the swords and everything. It was just a really cool place, and you can really understand like how these people are kind of superhuman-ish. They're not invincible, but they're not invincible, but they do. You can definitely tell that these people, like when they fight, you can tell that these people have been training their entire lives for this. Like they are fierce warriors, and it was really cool to see the physicality of the Amazon warriors. And it was cool to see the world of Themyscira. Themyscira is a very beautiful place. The cinematography in this film was amazing, especially on Themyscira. And also how it was kind of hidden from the world, how they were revealed was hidden from the world, was also a very cool development to see as well. Connie Nielsen plays the head of the Amazonians as Queen Hippolyta. Yes, got it again. A character I've been waiting to see on screen for a very long time. I've always loved Queen Hippolyta, especially how I said earlier, her like back and forth like, Wonder Woman, you shouldn't do this. And she was also Wonder Woman in the comic books for a very short time as well. Connie Nielsen provides Hippolyta with a great kindness, but also fierceness, and, you know, that sense of authority that a queen really needs to have, but also the nurturing nature. Sure, why not? The nurturing nature of a mother that, you know, she really cares about Diana. She shares a very good scene before Diana goes off to, she actually shares a lot of good scenes, especially between her and Robin Wright. They have a very good scene about her training Diana, and there's also, you know, the final scene with her with she's telling Diana about why Diana shouldn't go to the man's world, and you can tell, like, you know, she believes that she needs to, but also it's just like relinquishing your daughter, like just letting your daughter go. You're letting your daughter go, and Robin Wright just does a fantastic job. No, Connie Nielsen, sorry. Connie Nielsen does a fantastic job in that scene and in the entire movie. Can't wait to see her back in Justice League. Robin Wright, right? Robin Wright plays a super tough General A. I'm going to call her General A because I have no idea how to say that. So General A. She's provided with some super stellar action sequences that you're not going to forget. And she also gives Diana the proper push to become Wonder Woman. Chris Pine plays Steve Trevor, the first man that Wonder Woman ever meets, and he's also her partner in crime throughout the entire story. Pine plays his part to absolute perfection. He's witty, he's dutiful, he's very strong in his presence, and he's incredibly human. I like that you can really tell that Steve cares about what's going on in the world. He's not just some guy, he's just not some rugged rogue that's just like, I'm in it for the war and I'm in it for the fighting. He really does care about what's happening to people. He cares about what's happening to the people of the world, and Wonder Woman helps him care even more about, you know, some of these smaller things, some of the smaller people that are affected by World War I and whatnot, and you'll see in the film who they come across. And, yeah, but it was just nice to see someone, a soldier or just a person, especially that helps, you know, Diana in a way, kind of get into Women's World, that he really does care about, like, people who are dying in the world seems like it's on fire within that time period. He and Diana's scenes are truly the highlights of the movie, them bouncing back and forth off of each other, but them learning more about the world through one another are the highlights of the film, and it was just great to see that chemistry come to life on screen between those two. I also want to point out how well Wonder Woman is able to handle its ensemble, especially with some Hollywood films are kind of failing at that recently. It handles its ensemble very well. No one really gets lost in it, with one exception. There's one exception that I'll get into later. No one really gets lost in the shuffle, and I really applaud the film for that. Another pivotal piece to this ensemble, and one of Wonder Woman's like a deep cut for Super Wonder Woman fans, was Etta Candy. Lucy Davis, the actress that plays her, delivery was exceptional, and she's just a great, wonderful presence to have on screen. She was a great light in some of the darker moments, and a great light in some of the lighter moments. Her scene with Wonder Woman picking out dresses and wardrobe was fantastic. It's just nice to see Wonder Woman have that character. I think every superhero or larger than life person in one of these movies, in one of these types of movies, they need that person that really that's really just human, that's just normal. They're not a soldier, they're not a reporter, they're just normal. They're just completely normal, and I'm glad that Wonder Woman found that to connect on a human level, and hopefully maybe we could see more of that in the future as well, from more Etta Candy in the future. I also want to give props once again to this film for handling its villains very well, and this movie has 3 villains and they all get proper screen time. You understand what they're doing, and they're all distinctly unique in what they are. Once again, what they are doing. So once again, just props to Patty Jenkins and co. Because I know that is hard for some movies to do, to handle these multiple antagonists, and this movie does a great job at that. This is actually the third comic book movie that's actually handled its villains properly, which is, usually we had that one dud, but so far Logan, Guardians, and Wonder Woman have been able to be like, we can handle multiple antagonists, we can make them all fun, and also still have the heroes play a pivotal role in the story. Speaking of Patty Jenkins, this Munster director, the Munster director, she directed Munster. She's not actually a Munster, she directed Munster with Charlize Theron, who's not also a Munster. She plays a Munster, but she's not a Munster. And she's directed by a Munster, but a Munster director because she directed Munster. Jenkins delivers as a storyteller on both fronts in this film. She is able to handle the more character-driven scenes. She's able to handle the stillness of a dramatic scene, or she's able to handle the fun and the levity of a more comedic scene, and also just bouncing the dialogue from Alan Heinberg, who did a fantastic job of the screenplay. She's able to handle all of that very well with the characters, but she's also able to handle the more action-oriented scenes, the more bombastic action-oriented scenes that you will see in this film. She's able to handle that very well. You get a very good sense of how Diana can move in a battle. Diana is she's a nice blend of what we've seen from Man of Steel and what we have also seen from Batman and BVS, of just like a practical physicality in a fight where you actually feel like someone's there, but you also have that superhuman strength where she can jump into a bell tower and destroy it, or throw a tank, or she can also fight, have a similar fight to Batman in the warehouse scene where she's just fighting guys with melee. But Patty Jenkins handles that extremely well with the action scenes. And while also being a great mix of Batman and Superman, it's also distinctly Wonder Woman. The Amazons have a very graceful but ferocious movement to them. They fight with elegance, but they are also here to kill. Also, the score in this film was also very good. That's something that we can at least expect from a majority of DC films, that the score will be very good. And the musical score in this film was exceptional. I think they used Wonder Woman's theme when they needed to. They didn't overuse it, which was one of the things that kind of worried me about this film. And also Wonder Woman's theme in general. Wonder Woman's theme in general, I don't think plays to a more dramatic scene, but just overall it doesn't always work. But they use it in a way where and they also gave her new they also plussed her theme up a little bit in this film as well, giving her a couple of new notes, but they also use that classic that's a cello, not violin, but they use that very well, and it sounds great during the action scenes. And I like how in this movie, and maybe even in the future of the DC cinematic universe, extended cinematic universe, that her theme is going to be something that you can look forward to, or you can try to hear it out a little bit, because they do a good job in this film, especially in the beginning, building up to it, and then when it finally hits that crescendo, when it finally hits that action beat that we've been waiting for, it just goes full on, and she's jumping through buildings and jumping off of walls, and it's just it's great. Yeah, they use it very well in this film. Now, not all movies are perfect, and Wonder Woman is not the exception. As much praise as I've given this movie, it still has its problems. Luckily, most of those problems don't appear till the very sudden third act. Without giving away any spoilers, I just found the third act to be very similar to what we've seen in the DC extended universe. Why do you have to make it so damn long? Without getting into spoilers, I just found the third act to be very similar to what we've seen before in the DC Extended Universe. A giant CGI extravaganza with two beings punching each other into asphalt. That's kind of become the norm in these movies, and I don't really like it. Plus, the entirety of the finale feels like it was shot on a giant green screen, and it just doesn't feel tangible. It doesn't feel like anybody's actually there. It just seems very hollow and manufactured. Unlike the beginning of the film, unlike some of the other sequences of the film where it's very tangible. Whether they're on the beach or whether they're in a town fighting Germans. This one just felt very just very digital, very CGI. Also, as I said before, Wonder Woman does a very good job handling its characters, except for one. And once again, without giving away spoilers, one character just vanishes, just kind of up and vanishes in the third act. And I don't know what exactly all that was about. Look, I may have missed something. They may have said something about that character in the ending. But for me, when I saw the film, I was just like, where did that person go? The third act also contains a really weird Deus Ex Machina moment, and I really wish they found a way to work around that. I really don't like seeing that in movies where it's just like, and now the person knows what to do now, and it's just I really just wish they found a way to work around that. And I really wish I could tell you what that thing was without spoiling the film, but I can't, so hopefully we do a spoiler review where I can go into that a lot more. Also, once again, as much as I love the action scenes, I mean, Wonder Woman throws a freaking tank for crying out loud. Some of it was just a little too much. It was a little bit too much slow motion for my taste. But as I said before, the action scenes, it didn't completely ruin the action scenes for me. Also, one last little nitpick. This is a nitpick, but there's also kind of a redo of a scene from Man of Steel in the end of the movie. If you notice it, point it out in the comments or point it out in one of our spoiler reviews that we'll be doing later this week. But yeah, it's I was just like, that's from Man of Steel. But yeah. But other than that, Wonder Woman is still pretty good. As I said before, Wonder Woman is truly the superhero movie I think we need right now. It's a very hopeful film, and it's a film that does something that I think Man of Steel was trying to do with introducing a very, just a very hopeful character in a very dark world, but Wonder Woman's hope kind of extinguishes that in a way. That kind of, she's able to work past that without forfeiting her character, and I think she does have a realization in the film that, that the world is what it is. It's not just completely black and white. There's some areas of gray, but she never becomes a dour character, which I really enjoyed. It's just nice to see someone in the DC universe smile once in time, and actually act like their character from the comic books a little bit. So I really enjoyed that. Diana is a person trying to do good in the world, but not giving into hopelessness or despair in her quest. This film is fun, it's funny, and it really shows off what Patty Jenkins can do. I can't wait to see what she does next. I expect Wonder Woman 2 to be in her future, maybe even another DC film. I also want to see what she can do. Maybe bring Gal Gadot to a more independent feature. Speaking of which, I do want to see her do something smaller. Maybe return to her smaller roots before going into a Wonder Woman 2, because I really like some of the emotional scenes she was able to get out of She was able to get out of this film, so maybe a smaller film, or even maybe go back to an epic or something a little bit larger scale, because Wonder Woman does have that epic scale, whether it's on Themyscira or whether it's in the trenches of World War I, on No Man's Land. She knows how to direct action in a very good way. So, either or. I want to see what else Patty Jenkins can do. I want to see what else Alan Heinberg can do with a DC film. I loved his writing on this film, except, some things in the third act I think could have been better, but I want to see what else this crew can do with the DC universe. But yeah, Wonder Woman is a win for DC. I really think you should go see this film this weekend. Support this film so we can get more films like this. So with all that being said, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you like hearing us talk about movies, if you want to see more reviews from us, we also did a review on the Spider-Man edit. Apparently there's a Spider-Man 3 director's cut or something, that Miller Dillon and Will Abbott, they did a review on it. They watched the film and did a review on it, so please go check that out. Also check out our Alien Covenant review, and also check out our review of Baywatch that we posted last week. Also check that out. Also check out all of our social medias. We're Till Last Credits on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. Go check that out as well. And lastly, I also want to give my condolences to Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder's family. I know they suffered a tragedy. We learned about that tragedy last week. I just want to give my condolences on my behalf and on To the Last Credit's behalf to their family. And I really hope that they can work through it and that we can see Zack Snyder make films again, and also that their family can be whole once more, because that is a very devastating tragedy, and I wish their family the best. So, with all that being said, I'm Darren Leslie for Till Last Credit. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and we'll catch you guys next time.